Hello, Brubs. We're back with new book arrivals number 300 and something. I'm not sure what it is. It's in the teens, I believe. Um, I got some couple piles of books here for rather cheap. I went to a library which had a 10-cent rack, and I picked up a bunch. I think 9 books, and then I went to a thrift store, Motown Thrift, which had books 5 for $1. The sale was over, but the sign was still up, so they had to accept it, and they gave it to me. So most of the books I paid roughly $4 for, and then there was about 10 other books. So I would say this is about $10 worth of books. Two of a Kind, The Hillside Stranglers, The Inside Story by Darcy O'Brien. Also, if you're interested, the barcode on the back of this for Libib or most other services where you scan them will not work, but if you go into the inside of the cover, it will. So yeah, so I've learned that little trick because it saves me a hell of a lot of time of entering this barcode into the manual form, or I could just scan this. And I have a ton of mass market paperbacks, which this barcode is unresponsive for. I don't know why. Anyway, that will go to me mother. Yes, I could care less. How to be a language snob without being a jerk. And I've always said, yes, I could care less because at some point I will care less. And so anybody who says I couldn't care less is a fucking dweeb. This was a 10-cent book, so I could not pass it up. Probably not worth anything. It's just one of those snobbish books. It's about language, which I'm pretty terrible at language. I can read, but when you ask me the mechanics of English, I'm pretty woeful at it. Although I've learned over the years some stuff, but I guarantee I would fail a test on English. S is for stupid, an encyclopedia of stupidity. Bitch. Names. Arrested for public urination in Bowling Green, Ohio, Mr. Joshua Pease. In February 1995, attorney Charles Peruto Jr. was negotiating a low bail for his client in a Norristown, Pennsylvania courtroom. Even though his client, Howard Wingding Jones, was an accused drug dealer, Peruto tried to convince the judge that his client would not jump bail. The judge didn't believe Peruto's argument and raised Jones's bail from $1,000 to $150,000, at which point Jones fled the courtroom. Charged with possession of 33 pounds of cocaine in Roseville, Michigan, Denise Koch. She was the cokester, buddy. Yeah, this is literally a book of stupidity. S is for stupid. How to talk about books you haven't read by Pierre Bayard. And I believe I have another book by Bayard. Where's the corresponding book to this? Well, it's not corresponding, but I don't know where the hell I put it. Would have made a great segue. It's probably right here. Yeah, how not to read. How to talk about books you haven't read. Let's see what he says. Which of these great books have you, A, talked about convincingly without ever cracking the spine? Moby Dick, blah, blah, blah. Pierre Bayard puts this reader, in a uniquely paradoxical position, having just read his witty How to Talk About Books You Haven't Read. I have now discovered that there was no reason for me to have read it in the first place, but without having read it, how would I have known that I could just as well have skimmed it or perhaps heard about it somewhere, or possibly formed a sense of the book based entirely on what other readers have said about it, on the sort of received opinions about a work that float around in the culture? Right. Biblioholism The Literary Addiction by Tom Rabe, or is it Rabe? Biblioholism, book of books, the habitual longing to purchase, read, store, admire, and consume books in excess, which I've done. Well, we are what we buy. No, we aren't. I buy books by authors I hate just as well. Like this Chumbawamba fucker. He probably does the same thing. The history of the book. So how did it all begin? I believe the first book was a deck of cards. First gardening book, 10,000 BC. Are you fucking... I don't believe that. Devils by Fyodor. How do you say that? Is it Fyodor or is it Fyodor? I think it's Fyodor. Dostoevsky. Devils, new translation. This looks like one of those quarter paperback. Oh, I hate when there's fucking residue there. This looks like one of those paper, or those, what are they called? The book club editions, but I might be wrong. What year is this from? The reprint, anyway. I don't see a date. 2017. Hello, bruvs. Life in a provincial Russian town is thrown into disarray by the arrival, after years spent abroad, of the rakish Nikolai Stavrogin, the son of the wealthy landowner Varvara Petrovna and Pyotr Verkhovs. How the fuck could you even read this? Pyotr Verkovensky, the son of a local intellectual and the apparent ringleader of a shadowy network. And I still say it because people always say like a German name, Friedrich Nietzsche, but no one ever says a fucking hillbilly's name, Johnny fucking Babcock. And I think we should change that. So when you say Jefferson Davis, you got to say it like that. I mean, if you say a Latino name or a Spanish name, and you got to say Jose Carrero Zabr, why don't we say Jefferson Davis? But my argument has never won anybody over. Wild Justice, a study of Euripides' Hecuba by Judith Mossman, the second edition. I don't even know. Revenge is a kind of wild justice. Frederick Bacon, Jesus Christ. Francis Bacon. Euripides' Hecuba is dominated by the vengeance which Hecuba takes on the faithless Polymestor, and explores in a complex and profound manner the potential of revenge as a subject for tragedy. Kind of sounds like Medea. I don't know the story of Hecuba, quite honestly. All right. This book, I thought I put back at the thrift store, but apparently I didn't, so now I own it. Becoming Wise, an Inquiry into the Mystery and Art of Living by Krista Tippett. Hopefully it's worth something and I can sell it because I didn't really want it. I thought I put it back, but I did not, so. In Becoming Wise, Krista Tippett has created the masterclass in living for a fractured world. Fracture, she says, is not the whole story of our time. The enduring question of what it means to be human has become inextricable from the challenge of who we are to one another. She insists on the possibility of personal depth and common life for this century, nurtured by science and spiritual technologies, with civility and love as muscular. Oh, Jesus Christ. I can't live with it. All right, this is the next book just because I also meant to put this one back. Naked Money, a revealing look at our financial system. And I should have known by the fact that it was a fucking sign, like a bathroom sign figure with $1 over his dick, that this book was nothing. But I forgot to put it back. Why, I don't know, but something must have interrupted my placing it back. So now I own these two books. But I did get them for 20 cents a piece since for some reason they had a $5 for $1 sale. T. Corrigan Boyle, probably one of the most boring novelists in the history of the world, but since I started collecting him, I will continue collecting him. Let's give you a little reading on Greasy Lake. Oh, these are short stories. There was a time when courtesy and winning ways went out the style, when it was good to be bad, when you cultivated decadence like a taste. We were all dangerous characters then. We wore torn up leather jackets, slouched around with toothpicks in our mouths, sniff glue, and ether and what somebody claimed was cocaine. When we wheeled our parents' whining station wagons out into the street, we left a patch of rubber a half a block long. We drank gin and grape juice, Tango, Thunderbird, and Bali High. We were 19, we were bad. We read Andre Gide and struck elaborate poses to show that we didn't give a shit about anything. That night, we went up to Greasy Lake. Right, you did. What's up, Brubs? Pulling Down the Barn, Memories of a Rural Childhood by Anne Marie Uman. And she is a Michiganian, so it's the only reason why I bought the book. What's her tale about here? In this honest and powerful coming-of-age family story, Anne Marie Uman utilizes a poet's eye to lovingly depict the beauty of the northern Michigan landscape, while at the same time finding a kind of dark splendor in its sometimes harsh and raw climate. Sometimes. You fucking kidding me? It's 6 months of winter down here in the Detroit area. I can't imagine how much worse it is up there. Although I've been up there in July when it was below freezing. So I understand. I'll never read that book. It's just going on the shelf, along with my several hundred other Michigan books. The Map Maker's Wife, and I believe I have this book, A True Tale of Love, Murder, and Survival in the Amazon. I just think I have a different edition of this. But when I libibbed it, oh, what the hell is this? Levinus Holsius's depiction of Sir Walter Raleigh's headless men in Guyana, 1599. Dude, he still got fucking hair, but no head. Look at this dude. What the fuck is this Chumbawamba shit? Look at that face. That's like Humpty Dumpty. And then this guy's got hair. Or is that nah, that's a guy. Looks like he's got a thong on, but I think it's a guy. I guess they both have the loincloths. What the fuck? He's got hair and no head. What? I guess he could have long back hair. That's brilliant. There's a tribe of warrior women of the Amazon. What the fuck? I gotta read this book. This book looks good. As enthralling as any epic novel, full of mystery and danger, bravery and tragedy, with a rapturous love story at its core that transcends both time and continents. A marvelous read. Dennis Lehane. The Inner Me, a journal to connect with yourself and discover what brings you true happiness. I am going to write in this book, and I'm just going to put a bunch of fictitious shit and then donate it to a thrift store before I die. And then someone can post this on the internet in 2060 or something like that. I should be dead by 2060. What's this? 2026? 35 years? Yeah, I think I'll be dead. When was the last time you cried? I'm just going to say I cried every day. It's because of you, baby. Name your fears, then name why they aren't useful. Yeah, I'm going to fill this whole book in. And then I'm going to drop it off at a thrift store before I die. And hopefully YouTube's still around there in 2060. How to Watch a Movie by David Thompson. Your everyman guide to cinema. Heady but practical. I can't imagine a worse thing than someone telling you how to watch a movie. What is a shot? Once upon a time, giving a camera to a kid marked the coming of age. So young people thought of taking a photograph as a personal advance. Today, we all have phones that snap anything and everything. So selfies are as casual and disposable as chatter. It is the new talk. But suppose you want to take a picture of your girlfriend. Why? Well, there is a way in which fond photos hope to establish a relationship as a way of saying, look, you're beautiful, and I have seen it. I mean, if I would have opened it and read that, I probably wouldn't have got this, but for 20 cents, I mean, it's at least Fire Kindle. Will in the World with a new afterword. Obviously, it's about Billy Shakespeare or Sir Francis Bacon. How Shakespeare became Shakespeare. And I already have this book, but I believe I have it in hardcover form because when I scanned the barcode on Libib, I did not have it. And I just, in my new quest to document every book I have, I went through all the Shakespeare books first, so I know I don't have this edition at least. But I believe I have a hardcover, so I'll always get the paperback too if I have a hardcover. Dreams and what they mean to you. My Gene, is that what that is? My Gene? Gonzalez Whippler. Let's read a random dream here. The symbology of dreams. No, I just want to dream. Dream analysis. Dream motifs. Who makes a book like this? I mean, you open this book, how can you read this? You literally have to flatten it. I think that's the sign of Llewellyn Books. Down. Sex, Suicide, and the Harvard Psychiatrist. I thought this might be true crime, but I don't think it is. It just says nonfiction. Books, nonfiction. Compelling, a fascinating glimpse of psychiatry without its blinds drawn. I went to a psychiatrist once with my girlfriend at the time, and all this, I can't remember who it was. They wanted me to come, so I was like, all right, I'll go, I guess. And all they did was just made me feel like a piece of shit. I'm just like, listen, this is a cheating bitch. Well, you need to, I said, I don't have to do anything. And that's the last time I ever went. All they did was make me feel like a piece of garbage because she was a cheating, lying bitch. But that wasn't why she was going, but that was what's. In 1986, Harvard Medical School student Paul Lozano sought out prominent Harvard psychiatrist, and also the psychiatrist asked me, do you see yourself as a father figure? And I was like, no, what are you fucking talking about? This is my girlfriend, buddy. I thought I was trying to be a daddy to my girlfriend. I was like, no, she's a psychotic bitch. A brilliant young man has been reduced to a state of infantile dependency. All right, I've seen enough. Zen combat and the secret power called Ki. Karate makes every empty hand a sword. Kendo and the samurai way of swordsmanship. Naginata, samurai woman's weapons. Zen archery with the 8-foot longbow. Iron fan. I don't know what any of this bullshit is. But I looked on eBay and there's like 50 copies of this and none ever sell. And I looked on it on Amazon and it said that the sales ranking's like 9 million. And since I used to sell on Amazon, I know that a 9 million ranking means you might sell the book once in 10 years. So I guess I'm keeping this. This one looked really intriguing. George Eliot, The Kissing Man. Praise for The Kissing Man. With its subtly haunting blend of the strange and the familiar, The Kissing Man is the work of a rare and original imagination. A real and recognizable rural world is the setting of these otherworldly fables. The stories can be taken at their face value, and strange, nostalgic, comforting meanings can be read into them. The events seem to have happened in a township in Western Ontario a generation or two ago, and they take place against the background of undeniable substance. The dry goods store is real, as is the Queen's Hotel. The mill pond, the axe handle factory, the Anglican cemetery, and the barber shop, but the experiences of the people are on a more conscious level than such a background might suggest. The kissing man is filled with pity for loneliness, and he brings small moments of solace to hopeless women. The grinder man, the twins, the man who sat by the mill pond, the doctor, all inhabitants of the township have an urgent existence, and they are all somehow necessary to each other. What the fuck is this? Maybe I'll read this book next. The Kissing Man. Interesting. A Midsummer's Night Dream. A Midsummer Night's Dream, edited by Russ McDonald. Everyone knows what this is. I don't have a copy of it in this edition, which is the Pelican Shakespeare, so now I have it along with my 4 other copies. How the Holocaust Happened. And I usually don't buy Holocaust books because there's so many of them. Same with Nazi books, unless they're really like something about the occult or Hitler was gay or something. But how the influence of Catholicism surrounded the Holocaust. They basically blame Catholics for the Holocaust taking place. So I may read this book. I've never heard this theory before, but I did. What did I read? What was I reading? I don't know. I forget now. Oh, it was in the Memoirs of Bridget Hitler, where she was talking about one of Hitler's sisters was a Catholic, and she called Hitler evil and claimed that he was trying to kill the church, which he might have been. I don't really know much about Hitler, besides the killings and obviously the war. But this one basically says that the Catholics, oh, there he is, Archbishop Pacelli and Hitler. They claim that the Catholics allowed it to happen or encouraged it. One of the two, I believe it said. So that's interesting. Convenience store woman, Sayaka Murata. And there's a little rice ball face, which is cute, buddy. An international sensation that has sold more than 1 million copies in Japan and was named the best book of the year by U.S. publications, from BuzzFeed to The New Yorker. There she is, Sayaka Murata. And who doesn't like Japanese people? So, as long as it's not like Crazy Rich Asians or something like that, I will get most Japanese books. Of course, Crazy Rich Asians, I don't think is about Japanese, is it? This is another 10-cent book, Art in London, a guide by Brian Brook. It's probably worth nothing, but doesn't really have photos either. So I did have some illustrations I thought were decent, but it's probably just a throwaway book, but I only paid 10 cents. And I'm never going to London because London isn't even London anymore. Might have been interesting to go there 30 years ago, but now it's just a New World Order haven. This book's probably my favorite of the day, Twisted Tales from Shakespeare by Richard R. Moore. Armour? Look at that. That's great. Twisted Tales from Shakespeare. I am Shakespeare. Richard Armour rides again, having written over American history and it all started with Columbus. I ain't reading that. I was hoping for some kind of bookstore tag in here, but there's seems to be nothing. But this is whimsical enough. What do we got here? Away to the woods, Theseus lays down the lyre. Grave situation, bruv. What is that? Just the skull. The Queen was busy. George Lyman Kitteridge. What year is this from? 50s? 1965. Originally published in the 50s. Khalil Gibran, The Nature of Love, author of The Prophet, a study by Andrew Dib Sherfin. Again, a 10-cent book, so I couldn't pass it up. These do have some value, not much, $5, $10, but for 10 cents, it is worth it. And it's in great shape too. Nice hardcover. Dust jacket, old Kmart sticker for 97 cents. Can't go wrong with that. I've got a ton of these hardcovers, and I plan to sell them on eBay at some point, just because I don't give a shit about this guy. Everything he writes seems to be like new age kind of stuff. No one can seriously claim that he does not need to love or be loved by him. Shut up. They speak with other tongues, and I collect books on, what's it called? Speaking in tongues. So I've never read a single page of them, but oh, what's this? Saw something in there. What was that? No, just shit. It might be literal feces. Thought I saw a piece of paper or something in there. Well, we got this. Pink. I thought I saw a piece of paper. Maybe I didn't. It must have just been the feces that was in there. But I thought I saw a piece of paper. Nothing. See what it says. John Sherrill was skeptical. Guidepost magazine had assigned him to investigate a strange biblical event that was cropping up again today across the country. Speaking with tongues, what was it all about? John's search led him on an adventure that was to have profound personal results. I want to hear some people speaking in tongues. Is that Van Impe, did it say? Let's just say Jack Van Impe. No, Van Dusen. If it said Van Impe, I'd start reading it right now. This book, They Knew the Unknown by Eban. And it has a bunch of great chapters. So, the searching philosophers Socrates, Swedenborg, Kant, and Schopenhauer, from Shakespeare to Shelley, Lincoln, Mediums and Forebodings, Victor Hugo, a 2-year dialogue with ghosts. I mean, I want to read this. Maybe I'll read this book now. From the Brownings to Dickens, A Love-Hate of Spirits, Mark Twain's Mental Telegraphy, William James's Varieties of Psychic Experiences, Strindberg, Telepathic Delusions, A.R. Wallace, Dimensions Beyond Darwin, Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes's Alter Ego, Thomas Edison, A Machine to Contact the Dead, McDougall, ESP at Universities, Psychoanalysis and Telepathy, and on and on and on. But I was really interested about Hugo's 2-year dialogue with ghosts. I may start reading this book tonight. Alexander Carrel, The Unknown in Man. I was going to read The Madness of Mary Lincoln, but the more I thought about it, the author's probably still around and will probably copyright strike me, but I usually try to read books where the author's dead, so there's no fucking chance that they're going to copyright strike me for reading an entire book. This one's just about cards. Cunts? Jesus Christ. All right, we'll move on. Bruce Catton. Grant Takes Command. I had to go get this book because I don't know if the lady was serious or not, but at the 5 for $1 sale, I only had 14 books, and she's like, you have to go get another one. I was like, are you serious? And she's like, yes, or you can't get the discount. I was like, all right, I'll go get a fucking free book. So I got this, which I originally had in my basket, but I put back. First edition, Bruce Catton. And I have several volumes of Catton, who seems to have written 800 books on the Civil War. I believe this may be fiction, although he's written numerous histories, and this guy's a champ. He also is he was a Michigan writer. So I have other books of his that are related to Michigan, but I assume that there's Michigan material in here as well. Bruce Catton. Children's toys you can build yourself. They are less expensive, safer, longer lasting, and more sheer fun than any you can buy. And I got this at the same place where I got a new bookshelf headboard, not headbed. And I thought about looking this up, but I had forgotten my phone in the car, and then I just got the headboard, so I just said, I'm not looking to see if this is worth anything. It's interesting enough. It makes me think of this one place called Jack's Bookstore. Corner bookstore, which was in Plymouth, Michigan. And I had a girlfriend who had an apartment in a old converted house, an old Victorian house, and right next door was Jack's Corner Bookstore. I don't know why this makes me think of that place, but that's what it makes me think of. Hey, there's Malcolm. Baby Malcolm. I don't know what these fucking toys. Look at this toolbox. What year is this? 70s? 1978. Let's see what kind of toys you could. Oh, a sailboat. Yeah, Johnny would love that. All right, let's bring out the sailboat. Touch grass, touch water. Look at this thing. Oh my God. I hate to tell you, Grandpa, but you make this thing for maybe a 3-year-old will love it, but the fucking 9-year-old, he's gonna take this thing and throw it right in the trash. Look at that. Oh no. Yeah, these aren't gonna be a Gen Z favorite. You could fucking 3D print something in 6 hours that would be better than this. Look at this. Basic horse. Oh my God. I should start building this shit. Just be making my life's consuming passion. Just building these shitty toys. 2 dowels crossed and lashed are the simplest means of marionette manipulation. That I might build. Look at that creepy ass thing. There's Malcolm. I do want to build these. Simple all wood marionette. See, it was a good choice to pick it up. Look at these creepy ass things. I need to start building this stuff. Look at this. Is that a fucking washcloth on her? With 2 ordinary rubber bands and a wooden dowel, you can make a very simple stickball puppet. I mean, are those golf tees? Puppet on a stick. What the fuck is this? Is that a chess piece? That's pretty cool. Whether from plastic hardware store pickups, wood, or found objects, youngsters of all ages can enjoy making their own personal chess sets. Yeah, I'd rather make it than play chess. Chess is boring as hell. Hey, let's sit here for an hour and do little moves. Things that make us sick. The Society for the Promotion of Good Grammar takes on Madison Avenue, Hollywood, the White House, and the world. Martha Brockenbrough. Or is it B. Rockenbrough? Wheeler's Liquor. Do you ever feel badly or get nauseous? Yeah. You know what'll make you nauseous is low potassium. Things that make us sick will cure you of those maladies and make you feel properly bad and nauseated about sloppy grammar, usage, and punctuation. Smug Woman is the founder of SPOG, the Society for the Promotion of Good Grammar, as well as a writer for Encarta.com and the former editor-in-chief of MSN.com. She is the author of It Could Happen to You and lives in Seattle with her family. Right, she does. The Enemy Within, Flab, Jargon, and the People in Your Office. All right, finally, we reached this book, How Not to Read, Harnessing the Power of a Literature-Free Life by Dan Wilber. And it's got a remainder mark, so you know it's worth jack shit. Forget novels, stop reading all text. Likeable, Jesus Christ. Daddy Issues and a Bad Breakup from Rome, Virgil, translated by Robert Fagles. One long sentence about hand jobs. What the fuck is this? Well, I guess it was only 10 cents. Never flirt with a veteran's wife. I hate you, I love you. No. Mm-mm. Teddy Roosevelt solves tranny murders. What the fuck is this? Is this supposed to be a funny book? William Shakespeare is the most famous writer of English. All right, well. Oh, he works for NPR. Or NPR commended that it was a great book. So, you know, it's a piece of shit if NPR likes it. British English A to Z, a definitive guide to the Queen's English, which is one of the great conundrums of all time. Why these people formed a language and then they say shit like Wouter and glacier. It makes zero sense to me. Why English is not spoken by English people. Every English person has an accent. And none of them say the words properly, so I don't understand how these son of a bitches created the language and then totally botch it. It makes zero sense. Conservancy. I mean, every word they say is not right. It's just, is there one English person that says water right? They all say water. Just why? Does it make sense? Chomp chop. Type of lamb chop. Channel. The English channel. Carpet. British purists distinguish between carpet and rug on the basis of size. 40 square feet over is a carpet. Under that size is a rug. The American distinction is based on type of manufacture. A carpet is machine. No, that's not how I think of it. A rug, handmade. I think of a rug as something that's not basically tacked to the floor. That's a rug. All right, that's all. That's all, Rose.